Hello TSG, this is Kurt, and this is your 20-minute challenge for June. This month we're going to be doing a little bit different. Instead of starting up in our higher guards, which have been pretty much the standard of where I put, talked about my challenges at, I'm going to have us explore a guard that I don't see very often utilized, and I think it has a lot of potential, especially against people that, like me, enjoy a good point out on you, and that is exploring your neben, or as another text will say, the iron door. So we're going to discuss a little bit about utilizing that against people in the bind or as they're cutting at you. Let's explore some of the plays that we see there. And I have used these techniques. They're very hard to pull off, I'm not going to lie. But I think there's a great potential there, and I'm challenging you all to try it out and maybe add something new to your repertoire of attacks and cutting combinations. So with that being the case, warm-ups for this are going to be, again, focusing on we're going to be doing a lot of hips today, as well as shoulders. So big areas for exercise in there, some type of squat area, something to kind of make sure that you're limbered up in the legs. Definitely want to get some core knocked out. Arm circles are great. And then, of course, if you want to do push-ups for strengthening, again, I recommend anybody that is looking for any type of fitness, talk to a personal trainer. I'm not one, so please contact one of them, and they can help you out with that. So those are just kind of the strengthening areas right there and warm-up areas which you can focus on. I'll post those in the link as well. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to also specifically be working on our wrist areas as well. That's another area which we've done before. Hands out in front and kind of, once again, just rocking them back and forth. We really want to get this area kind of loosened up and limber. If you remember before, there's other ones where I had like these right here where you can kind of go back and forth. You're just kind of rocking the wrist in motion so that you can kind of open it up as you see fit. So add that in there. Make sure your shoulders and your arms, your elbows, you can do a lot of joint type of movements right here, are good. You don't need to have any weight to it. It's just as simple as far as a warm-up is concerned. For strengthening, again, just push-ups and other things you can do. So for weapon exercises, we're going to, as always, continue with our blade raisers. Simply, again, rising up and down on both sides. Now again, as I say in every video, be mindful of the cross, because you can gouge yourself right here, and especially with the Chablowski, where it's kind of got a narrow tip there. It's got a lot of, that hurts if you dig into the forearm. But also, make sure that if you're not able to do this, choke up on it. If you get in the blade too, that's fine too. So it's just a matter of doing this. This is all that you're doing right here. If you have the ability to, you can start bringing your elbow cutting into it. Try to focus on making sure that your shoulder's not going forward with it. You don't want to go this, because then if you do that, you're going to start straining this area. So it's just a matter of trying to get this here. And then, of course, equal in and out on both sides. Just like such. Okay. We will do sword cyclones is going to definitely be one of them that we're going to be focused on. So remember that right there. We're going to be starting out in this area, moving forward, moving backwards, and then moving forward and moving backwards. Okay, tighten the grips, switch your grips as well. So again, those are the right hands on tops, the left hand, now you're going to do the left hand on top. Changing up your position, going forward, back. Okay. So with those areas right there, those are just kind of the basic tertiary stuff that we're going to be talking about. We're going to look at a few other body dynamic things in which we're going to talk about that go in conjunction with some of the things we see when we talk about windmills. So for windmills in this, you're really going to want to just kind of, again, put up in front here. With this though, you're going to want to edge into this. So see right here, if you can tell, my feet are pointed off this direction. So as this cut comes here, I have this off. My feet are facing out this way. I've not shifted or stepped. That's the important thing. To the other side. And you notice, foot's kind of put up. I've engaged my quad as well as my back of my leg. Now the other thing too about this right here that I wanted you to focus on Don't use the arms as much. I want you to tighten in your abdominal region in this area right here, and then let your legs movement be the thing that actually engines the cut. Your arms will steady it, so I'm not telling you to flop around, but your arms will steady it as you go back and forth as far as your cutting dynamics are concerned. So this is really what we're talking about here. So if you just assume this side here, all I'm doing is I'm tightening here, and I'm going to put the weapon down. From here, I'm just kicking over, right? So I've engaged my left here, and I'm going to shift. I'm tightening here and I'm tightening here. So as it pulls across. We're just pulling power. So here, you don't have to do it with anything in your hands. Here, here, here. Engage, tighten, press with the calf, push. Same side, same thing on the other side. So game, engage the calf, tighten the glute, pop. Pop. Breathe through this. So you're here. Right? Don't lock out your knees. That's a bad thing. You want to keep a good bend in there. So now when you put this in hand, and again, your hands are going to have to guide. So remember, we're talking about doing this motion right here. My hands are staying steady here, but as I push, it's just kind of coming around. That's all I'm saying. I'm not actually just doing this with my arms. My arms are staying steady, and as I push, it's only at the very end there that they come across. So here, you're going to come to this back portion right here. Once you feel the blade come back, it's going to naturally pop around on its own. Okay? Do that on both sides. So if you're on this side here, so you can see. Again, all I'm doing is these hands, see how they're up? I have to grip a little bit here so I don't lose it. But all I'm doing, there's barely any grip. Coming across. So you really have to engage right here. The only reason why my shoulders are tight is because they're holding this up, right? So now when I put my grips on this and I loosen that, it needs to be able to feel it. It's going to be, again, right? And the other side. So this function right here is important because we're also going to be talking about some of the doing the same thing but from the ground. So we see in front, some of the windmills we do this kind of action right here, right? But again, I want this action, right? So in this position, the reason why is here we're looking at engaging. Feet are not shoulder width apart, but they're square with each other. There's not one forward or back. Here, and again, I'm going to have my leg here forward a little bit. I'm going to, again, engage here. You can see I have to hold on to it with a little bit, but it's all body. So my arms are literally, the left hand is pushing under, and the right hand's coming across. It's like I'm driving a car. Okay, and then the other side. So remember we started here, now I go here. Okay, so put those together right there. You've now just built a dynamic in which your arms are light. If you're gripping this thing, you can't feel anything. And a lot of the cutting that happens, I had problems with in the very beginning, is we see moments where we charge a cut. We're not actually cutting through something, we're actually just beating it with the blade. And that doesn't actually do anything for us. So I started to practice a lot more of this concept of just let the body go. Hands. Again, just to be able to hold it. You know somebody doing this. I'm over exaggerating there for the point so you can see that literally that's all I'm doing. Of course my arms extend, but the understanding by me. So we've worked the top, working a zwerchau, and then we've also worked this krumping action that we have from a lower guard. So now we're just going to put that together and what this combination here is. So this combination that we're doing here, and I have my my assistant Vincent over here to be able to help out with this to kind of demonstrate it, it's literally a krump from a lower guard up, but notice we're not stepping, we're here, we catch it, my foot's changed, right? So I'm here, boom, here, boom. I've closed this line too. Now this isn't so much a flat, I have it more angled, it's like it's more of an angle here. There's a reason why I have it angled. Because in this right here, if I have to come in and press in for a cut, I have that. If it's flat, well, I just end up flattening the guy in the head. So I'm here, boom, boom, boom. So now this right here, left foot forward, right foot back, in that guard, boom. Boom, right? So this is the same thing. If someone's coming over, it's cutting above from you. Boom. Covering this line, and now going into this. So now imagine, remember we did right here. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. All that is, boom, I've cocked it in here, both my feet are facing the same direction now. And then I step off. It's all hips. Boom, boom. The left hand guides. Boom. Right hand's just the axle, so we move the left hand off. But the right hand here is a little bit easier to deal with now. One. Boom, boom. Watch the feet. Boom, boom. Both my feet are facing forward this way. I've literally taken my whole body. So now I'm opened up. Boom, facing this way are my feet. I'm gonna shift them this way as I step. Step. So the countdown for this right here, holding it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you notice there, the right hand doesn't leave center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now, to put this into practice here so you can kind of see this, and if you switch to the other side, I'm only going to do this side because I find that the other side here, if you're doing a cross almost like a shankhoot, you can do the same thing. It's very powerful. Again, boom, boom, and then pop. Boom, 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 boom. Ah. Boom, 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 boom. So, you have that kind of combination there. So to show what this looks like, that's what I have Vincent here for. I'm going to pull this into place here so you can kind of see. I'm going to go really slow with this. Now I've set him up in an angle as if it's someone that's cutting down on you. And this is why you have to displace with your hips. Now remember, this is the reason why your weapon is here. You have this cross. So if he's cutting down, I'm coming across. Say this blade comes down on me. I want this protected. And the other reason why I have this angle, so it's not flat, here, it comes down, is I still have the ability in here to wind in. If it's flat, well now this blade is not, it's free. So that's what we're simulating here. We're simulating this is a person that's cutting at you from above and you're in the below. That's why you have to use your body. Boom. And again, my feet are charged. Boom. Right? And then we're going to cut to the other side. So once I'm on the inside of this, now you're thinking, okay, this cut's coming from above. This is why it has to be forceful. And again, we're not talking about someone that's just pressing out. This is a person that's cut at you. This is a cut that's coming from above. So I'm coming up here, and then I pop across. Let's see if I can't pull this a little closer. Again, simulate a face. In, up here. So I'm not doing anything except for just engage. Engage. And then from here, shift the leg across. And one. So at full speed, so we'll do this really slowly, and I'll move it up to full speed. So slowly, we're talking about going boom, 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 boom. At full speed, because we're talking about a blade that's just kind of going here. I mean, it's not obvious that's slow. This is something that's cutting at you. But even that, it's a blade that's coming down, that can be displaced. So what does that mean? As he's cutting down at me, like such, I have to clear that line. So at full speed, at violent full speed, I'm here. There it is. One more. Again, remember coming up here, and again, the concept here is to get this out. Say he binds with me, that's great. Now I can wind in. I can lock in on him. Not the best angle. There we go. So that's your 20-minute challenge. It's a krumping from the lower position, which allows for you to kind of surprise your opponent upwards. You saw a few times that my blade got caught up in the blade. It was overhanging on it. I've not had that experience in a sparring match because the blade is not just sitting out there like that for you to hit. And normally this action right here is enough to throw it another way, and that person is going to react a certain way. So with that being the case, you don't always have that. I wanted to show you this with Vincent just to kind of show you how much the power there that comes across and then powers into a side cut really is devastating. And that's, again, is hips. So the reason why you have this kind of power there is not only the hips, but as you hit, you have now contact on your opponent's weapon. And then it's just a matter of popping across. So they're doing a lot of the work there because you're rebounding blade. So that's the 20-minute challenge. Like I said, I think it's a pretty nasty technique. Like I said, there's a few times I've pulled it. It's one of my newer things to do is to try to get into more of a lower guards concept, because high guards are pretty interesting, but I want to do more in that lower area, especially as we work for Kara. But yeah, so that's the 20-minute challenge. Cool down areas. You definitely want to stretch out your shoulders, your hips, as you probably can tell, and your gluteal and leg areas. So the stretches I've shown in there as far as for previous things, utilize them, and that will help you, that will benefit you pretty greatly as far as making sure that you are nice and limber for afterwards. So again, my name is Kurt Holfighter, and this is your 20-minute challenge. Hope to see you all in the ring soon. Fight on.